Bubble tea. Can food be cultural appropriation? It's my second video, and again, the new year has begun. Gong hei fa choi, chik mừng năm mới. Hope you had a lovely Chinese New Year, a lovely Tet, a lovely time overall, and more importantly, that you had loads of food. Because food is love, food is life, and food is culture. And therefore, food can be the topic of cultural appropriation, because by definition, it is the adoption of elements of one culture or identity by members of another culture or identity in a manner perceived as inappropriate or unacknowledged. In short, it is not yours to decide, but the people the element belongs to. Unfortunately, not all people, especially white Christian people, understand this, and even those who do understand have a hard time explaining it, so let me help you out. My name is Cindy, and as a former Asian kid sitting in my parents' restaurant doing homework and occasionally taking in orders, I think I'm more than qualified for this job. But is this worth discussing? Because come on, it's 2025. Why does that matter? There are more important things to talk about. And shouldn't we work on sharing? Isn't sharing caring? Do we have to gatekeep food? And to that I say yes, but also no. Of course, there are millions of more important topics to talk about, but I don't want this to be the aboutism Olympics.
And we, as humans and society, are complex beings, and I think we are able and should be able to handle complex things, even multiple ones at the same time.
And it's not been too long ago that once again there has been public uproar about food concerning cultural appropriation, because near the end of last year there was boba and there was the pho scandal. I thought it would be nice with a chopstick, but honestly my hand is already cramping. So this is what I've got now. Anyways, boba is not misspelled and rather an actively chosen white-owned company name. They presented themselves on the show Dragon's Den and rolled out a lot of online discussions. For anyone not in the know, Dragon's Den is the Canadian equivalent to the US show Shark Tank. It gives the opportunity for small businesses and people with business and product ideas to pitch these in front of a jury and win them over as investors. One of the guest judges on the show is Simu Liu, a Chinese actor who immigrated to Canada. He's known for his role in Kim's Convenience, as well as his breakthrough roles in Marvel's Shang-Chi and The Legend of the Ten Rings, and playing one of the Kens in 2023's summer hit Barbie. This Canadian white-owned canned bubble tea company goes on the show.
Looking at the data about bubble tea, and the popping boba was just rising everywhere in the world. So I was like...
And Simu Lee rightfully explains his concerns about them not only being white and selling a very distinctive Asian drink, but also not respecting its cultural origin and significance.
I started this venture company to uplift minority entrepreneurs, and not only do I feel like this is not happening here, but that I would be uplifting a business that is profiting off of something that feels so dear to my cultural heritage.
What's even more upsetting is their view of improving bubble tea by quote-unquote making it healthier. By the way, their website looks like this, and they sell alcoholic bubble tea, which I don't think makes it healthier or in any form or way better. Another judge, Manjit Minhas, a Canadian with a Sikh Dogra background, then downplays and borderline gaslights Liu.
Because it's something that's
Why?
very
There
near...
can be new takes on things.
Sure,
Nothing,
but I'm looking
not
at...
everything
I'm
has
looking
to
at
be
these two guys.
traditional.
No, but then...
And ended up investing in the company. All this led to her whole backlash online, shitstorm on the company, as well as online threatening, which is of course never okay and was also condemned by Liu. The duo behind boba had to issue an apology and the investment got pulled back. Weirdly enough, around the same time, another case of cultural appropriation concerning food made the rounds. From Canada, we flew all the way to UK, where a trademark sparked commotions online. Here it's a little bit more straightforward. A white company trademarked the word pho, falsely written, but still meaning the pho, as in one of the most popular dishes, if not even the national dish of Vietnam. It's a hearty rice noodle soup with vegetables, very distinctive spices, and typically made with beef. The catch here is that this white trademark came after small independent mom and pop shops, basically trying to sue anyone with the word pho in their business name. Knowing, of course, that they probably don't have the resources, meaning time, money, knowledge, support to fight back. It's as if one company would trademark the word coffee and then just go around and sue every coffee place in existence.
Trying to sound like a fool? You sound like a fool.
And thank God for the internet, because again, the backlash led to them not only withdrawing the lawsuits, but the trademark itself. Both cases closed. Sounds too simple, and as an informed hater, let's dissect the case on bubble tea. Bubble tea is a Taiwanese drink created in the 1980s. The basic bubble tea is black milk tea with chewy tapioca pearls, also called boba. Tapioca is starch made from cassava or manioc. It's not really that different to cornstarch or potato starch, and it's widely used, from Brazilian flatbread to tapioca chips in Southeast Asia to West Africa's curry, which is eaten with stews or soups. And of course, let's not forget its classic form, the tapioca pearls, which is not only used in bubble tea but also in various other desserts. Even white people use it. The French use it in parfait. The UK have it in chips form called skips, and the Americans use it in their tapioca puddings. Duh. Of course, nowadays there are tons of bubble tea variations, ranging from classic tea flavors to fruit juices and milkshakes. Also, there are other toppings, for example grass jelly, red bean, and probably the most popular among younger consumers, popping boba, which also comes in a variety of flavors. And as its name suggests, its gel-like skin pops to reveal the juice inside. The popping pearls are made by spherification, using sodium alginate and either calcium chloride or calcium glucate lactate. It's a classic technique used in molecular gastronomy dating back to the 1950s. Molecular gastronomy is viewed as modern, high-end, even elitist. It's a forward-thinking way of dining, and it's more than dining, it's more like a dining experience, which also comes with its respective price tag. Another use of this technique is the development of edible food packaging. When bubble tea with its tapioca pearls and popping boba hit the international market and gained popularity among youngsters in the 2010s, people, especially white people, older people, were more than eager to demonize this oh-so-foreign product. They disguised their blatant racism and xenophobia under the guise of concerned parents, concerned about health, about the sugar intake, about risk of swallowing, risk of potential carcinogenic ingredients. Because no way would it be in their own responsibility to look after their own children and what they were consuming. No way could something delicious and sometimes colorful as well as affordable be a safe, edible product. And don't get me wrong, because this way of thinking should not be underestimated, because that can be dangerous. These concerns were unfortunately quite spread across society and taken so seriously that investigations and thus the downfall began. In Germany, the hype was so big that even McDonald's started to sell bubble tea. But only 2 years after the introduction of bubble tea to the German market, local shops and franchises had lost so many customers to the point of being forced to close their businesses. Coincidence? Definitely not. With bubble tea gaining popularity and more shops opening, it got more and more of a target of a good, concerned citizen. And some of them happened to be chemists at the Rheinisch-Westfälischen Technischen Hochschule Aachen, a university in Western Germany. They tested some new measuring devices using bubble tea, which in itself is a very questionable method of test driving a new device, and apparently they found toxins. In what amount and how the tests were conducted, how big the test group was, where they got the bubble tea from, all the details were never published.
Wait, what?
Instead of working in a scientific and moral correct way, doing more research, more testing, writing a paper, contacting the health department, they put their own hatred against everything foreign, their own racism and xenophobia above their own credibility, above the credibility of the university, and above everything science should stand for, and they called the press. The chemist, as well as the manufacturer of a measuring device, immediately ringed up a local daily newspaper company to publish their findings. And the news spread like wildfire. Even reputable media were printing these so-called results and thus giving every single person who was already hating a solid reason to bring bubble tea businesses down. The language used was perfidious. Toxic trash, poison, filth found, biggest keyword, carcinogenic. The news even flooded the borders, making headlines worldwide. Shortly after, the health ministry in Germany did their own independent testing, and they have found no hazardous substances, declaring it safe for consumption. Separate studies from the SGS Institute Fresenius as well as Eurofins Sofia, both testing and certification companies, also confirmed the results. But the damage was already done. More than half of the shops had to close because of this. Sales volume dropped by up to 80%. Fake news killed the bubble tea market in Germany, took livelihoods of who knows how many people. Unfortunately, this is only one of many examples how prejudices and hate have harmed non-white communities. Does that mean we shouldn't share culture and share food with others anymore? No. In an ideal world, it's okay for everyone and anyone to cook whatever they like and try to sell that and make a living out of it. No one can choose in what culture and with what skin color they are born. I mean, maybe you're French and your calling is Japanese cuisine and you just make, in your opinion, the best ramen ever. Even though questionable to think you would make better ramen than any grandma in Japan. But in an ideal world, I guess that would be okay. Though it's a long way to this utopia, one maybe we'll never fully reach. Because now we are not equal. It's not because one is superior or we are too different, but because the system we live in is not treating us equally. Because the opportunities we have in life are not distributed fairly. And numbers never lie if sourced and read correctly. You can look into pretty much every area there is. Housing, the cultural activities that are available depending on who lives in that area, like museums, sports centers, educational programs. My first video already showed a peek into the different treatments in the justice system and the different reality of physical safety people face depending on class and ethnicity. White, black, indigenous, people of color are not represented equally in politics, management, high-ranking jobs, in media, in art, in science, at award shows. Opportunities to go to college, job opportunities with the same qualifications, hell, like even grocery store prices differ greatly depending on who lives in that area. For example, white neighborhood compared to an indigenous reservation area. All that is even worse when looking at statistics showing how wealth distribution looks like and how the racial wealth divide has only grown over 3 decades. And these are just some examples, because I could go on forever, especially concerning the topic food and cultural appropriation, which could be a whole series. Then, if you're so miserable, go back to your country. First of all, I'm born here, so this is my country. And second, yeah, I would love to. But as a collective, we live in this reality because of colonialism, capitalism, and the patriarchy, and these are undeniable facts. If we truly had an option, why choose living somewhere where hatred spews into our faces day to day, where life is hard and local food is shit? It's because of human trafficking, slave trading. It's because of wars the colonizers have led and are leading, or in the best case, are only financing. It's because our countries were so exploited to the point that they can't provide their own people, that what is left is famine and economic collapse. There's not enough to live a life in comfort. And of course, there are other not so drastic reasons. People are migrating in every direction, not only one. You can go study abroad, maybe you fall in love, maybe you move closer to family and friends, maybe it's just the weather. It's okay to want to live a better life. And if you're not in the 1%, it's okay, no, it's great to seek a better life even if that is somewhere else. And most of the time, you cannot bring everyone and everything with you. So all that is left are memories. Memories that are often deeply woven into dishes and food. Because, as I said, food is culture. It plays a big role in religious traditions. We honor the dead by displaying their favorite food and inviting them to come eat with us. Family get-togethers wouldn't be the same without your favorite dishes, without cooking all day, without all the recipes passed down from generations. Food is sometimes all that is left, that reminds us of our roots, our families, and our home countries. Having a big belly is a sign of good fortune, of wealth. Food is a love language. I think every immigrant child knows what that plate of cut-up fruit means. I'm sorry, I have gone too far. I don't want to bother you. Study well and earn a better way of living. I care about you. I want you to be healthy. I love you. And food has even further significance beyond culture. It's for a lot of immigrants a way to kickstart their new life. In the US, the food service industry is the second largest private sector. It provides 50.5 million jobs, which makes up to 10% of the total workforce in the United States. And 50% of these 15.5 million jobs are held by minorities. That's 9% more compared to the total of employed labor in other industries. Also, the food service sector is employing way more women. 54% of the employees are female, 7% more than in the total US employed labor force. On top of that, this is the opportunity for Black, Indigenous, people of color, and women to get a managing job. 45% of the managers are non-white and 47% are female. Summarized, food is not only part of our culture, our history, but a means for by society and the systems we live in, disadvantaged people, marginalized people to make a living, even a career, and to support their families. And this is similar to when we were kids and got to school with our so-called ethnic food. We would have loved to share, but instead we got ridiculed for it and got left with scars that needed years to heal, if ever. Food as cultural appropriation is valid. We are just trying to live. We are sharing our food, our culture, and we are trying to survive. And that in itself is already hard enough. But then white Christian people come, they don't respect the people they are stealing from, try to colonize food, put their weird white supremacist twist on everything by just labeling their bland version healthier and better. We try not to gatekeep, but then just look at what happened to bubble tea in Germany. Just look at how Simu Liu got treated on the show. It's already hard enough without you trying to make a profit off of our culture and without the constant battle against colonizers. But do know we will recover as we always do. Thanks for watching. My name is Cindy. I hope you have liked my video. If so, leave a like, comment and subscribe. I have linked all of my social media as well as my sources down below for further reading, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye!